Kim, are you still here? You are.
Yep.
Okay. You can make me host, or if you're hanging out, then
I'm going to make you host in just a second.
cool. Hi, Jeru. I'm dizzy. I'm just spinning Amelie around. Haramanamamo. Oh, there is no Chinese. No Spanish.
Got it set up. Got you.
¿Qué onda, Jero? Oh, no estoy en la calenda español, entonces no te escucho. ¿Qué onda, güey? Ahora te escucho. Buenas tardes. Oh, manches. Bien, bien, aquí cansado con la niña. Tengo el cerebro quemado, sí. La tiene que conocer. No sé, cuando se acaba ese pinche virus y podemos viajar.
Pinche
Yeah.
virus.
Well, it's good to see you. I'm going to go back to the English. All right. If you guys have questions, and if you don't have questions, that's okay too. Turn off your camera though, Haro. It's distracting to see you talking, and then we can't hear you. Thank you. And I guess if, let's see, I can make you guys, give you everybody permission to talk. Or promote to panelist. Then we can just talk. Hey, Tim, are you still here? No. You can also write questions in the chat.
Hi.
I'm promoting you all though, one by one. It just takes time. So if you're already promoted, unmute yourself and feel free to ask.
Hi.
I have a question.
Who's that, Seiji?
Yeah.
Okay, bro. Hey, are you back?
Yeah, I just arrived.
Welcome back, man.
Yay, thank you.
Congratulations. I'm so happy that we're so happy that you got everything worked out smooth.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yay. So actually I don't remember which class it was, but I still don't have it's not clear to me the differences between like when Geshe was talking about main mind thoughts and movement of the mind.
Oh.
Stanley's, right?
Generally, that would be Stanley's, yes. So I don't know where we were talking about it, but I'll do my best. These subjects are kind of fuzzy for me too, but I'll give you my best understanding. I think it's the kind of thing we're gonna have to be thinking. I think we'll all have to think about it for a while. Oops, I'm just promoting 2 more people. Okay. So the main mind is like, I think you can think of your main mind mostly as just your general awareness, your general consciousness, right? So it's kind of like the thing that is actively perceiving and also the place that's like where the thoughts are arising, and then it's kind of like the consciousness in which the thoughts are arising and it's perceiving the thoughts. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the place where anything mental is happening, including perception. This is how I understand main mind.
Kind of like foundation consciousness. No,
No,
right?
not exactly. Foundation consciousness has a lot of connotation of being the place where the karma is stored and carried and ripens, and it becomes your world. So main mind is more like Nam Parshepa in general. It's like general awareness.
Mm-hmm.
and the place where mental things are happening, like thoughts are arising there. But the thoughts themselves that are arising, that's like a movement of the mind. Or like any, or karma also is a movement of the mind. You know, it's like any activity within the mind is a movement of the mind, but a movement of the mind is not itself like perception. It's like the activity.
Mhm.
Does that kind of clear it up? Like one is like the perceiver and the kind of location where mental things are happening. And the other one is like activity or action.
Right. Because I remember vaguely that not necessarily all movements of the mind create karma. Is that correct or no?
All movement. That depends what school. And I don't think I'm capable of getting into great detail on this, but I think according to the Abhidharma school, all movement of the mind creates karma.
Mhm.
And that's the main school teaching this. Now, I could be wrong about that. So I don't know, is Stanley still here? Because this may have come up in his text, and that may be why you're remembering it that way. I don't know. But according to my best understanding, all movement of the mind creates karma. That said, there's probably some technicalities, you know. It's not all good or bad karma. There's neutral karma.
Right.
But
Cool.
perhaps there's some examples of movement of the mind that don't create karma, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Because
All right.
I think the point is that all, you know, anything that's happening in the mind is itself some sort of activity, and that's planting seeds.
Mm.
And because it's all infiltrated by a layer of misunderstanding, even if we have intellectual understanding, there's still in our hearts some kind of misunderstanding about things. Then that's why we're always making what we call karma. You know, if we became completely free of misunderstanding, then the movement of the mind, you know, according to my understanding, still creates seeds, but in that case they're not called karma by a lot of schools of Buddhism. At that point, it's like merit or virtue. It's just goodness that's creating your Buddha paradise.
Cool. And do you
So
remember?
in that sense, perhaps there's movements of the mind that don't create karma, because when it's not fueled by ignorance, when the first link's not there, then it's technically not karma anymore. Then it's virtue or merit. And so that's the two collections. Like when we say so, you know, when we're doing the dedication prayer. Hi, Emily.
Just a last thing about that. Then between main mind and mental functions, what's the main difference between that main mind and mental functions? I know that mental.
Well, it's kind of the similar answer, right? Main mind is like the ever-present awareness, and mental functions can come and go.
They can never be aware, right? The mental functions.
Hold on a second. She said, "This is what you have to look forward to, Seiji." I gotta set Ola as the translator too. Yeah, they come and go. Is it? Oh. Sorry, hold on. Okay, Ola. PG Ola is set for interpretation. What was the last thing you said, Seiji? I'm sorry.
That the main difference is that mental functions cannot be aware, right? It's just the main.
That's I don't know if that's true. I think that the mental functions are aware. That's different, because a movement of the mind is like describing activity. Right. So it's just a different meaning altogether. But a movement, mental functions, I believe they can be aware. There's different mental functions, you know,
Mhm.
and I think some of them, I think most of them are aware. So these are divisions within the mind, the mind with, you know, divisions within your awareness. It's just that the main mind is the one that's always there. It's like the just general perception. And the mental functions are more specific, like awareness of a feeling, or you name some of the mental functions. I can't really think. It's like because one of the ways in which main mind and mental functions are linked or can be that they're focused on the same object.
Right,
So
right, right.
in that case, they're both aware because they're both focused.
Mm.
So mental functions is different than a movement of the mind,
Uh-huh.
if that's what you were trying to clarify.
Yeah, like the three, they're kind of fussy. They're like
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
one
So
begins and the other one ends.
I think a movement of the mind is describing action. Mental functions and main mind are describing parts of your awareness. And mental functions are things that come and go. Although I think some of them are always present as well. So there are still some finer distinctions between main mind and mental functions. They're just more specific. And main mind is this kind of all encompassing thing that's always there.
Hmm. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think that helps. I think there's a question. Thanks, Nick. I think there's a question in the chat.
Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, we can come back to it too if nobody else has questions. Looks like a good question. Ari Xingmei Li says, "Oh, Ella, I'll make you a panelist so you can talk too. Why is there no mention of meditation in these scriptures? How to reach the state of shamatha? Thank you." Yeah, good question. There is mention of meditation in these scriptures, although it does seem that that hasn't been brought up a lot this term. But Venerable Utpala, are you still here, Utpala? Her last book before she started the one we're working on now was all about how to meditate on emptiness. And we're not covering any books on the practice of meditation right now, but there are. And how to reach the state of shamatha is, maybe it's something that we should translate. You know, it's a lot of description of this in Lam Rim. So I think that if you really want to learn about that, you can study Lam Rim, Chenmo, or Liberation in Your Hands. And a very basic answer is meditate for an hour a day. Just practice. I mean, I think that Geshe Michael, what he says around this topic is very smart. You have to sit and practice every day. Learning to meditate very well enough to reach shamatha is like harder than learning to be a concert pianist. So if you wanted to become a concert piano player, you would sit and practice as much as you possibly can. And the same for meditation. If you want to get good at meditation, you have to sit and meditate and practice a lot. So I recommend learning about the stages of meditation and then practicing them. So you can learn ACI or DCI level 3. And there's really great explanations of the stages of meditation, really, really great. And then it's really just up to you to practice and do retreat. Pabonka Rinpoche in Liberation in Your Hands says that you can reach shamatha in 6 months in retreat. Obviously this is different for everybody. Everybody comes into this life with different seeds and abilities to meditate. And it's hard, for everybody, because the mind is so habituated to thinking a million things and just being pulled all over the place. But with practice, we can progress, climbing the stages, the mind getting more and more focused, more and more subtle, until we can reach a state of, what they call shamatha. So I personally haven't achieved this, so I can help you with the knowledge, but I don't have firsthand experience of shamatha, unfortunately. But I'm hoping to get there. And feel free to follow up because I don't see much questions. Cool.
Hey, Nick, can I ask a quick question?
You can ask a question for as long as you want, I think.
Okay, thank you, Nick. The question I want to ask is, since we have been discussing about the emptiness of the cause and effect, so if cause and effect is also empty, then how can we really apply this cause and effect? Because it's just going to be different. So it's kind of bothered me for this question. Could you please share some insight on this? Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, great question. First of all, just because something's empty, it doesn't mean that it's always not, that it's not going to work a certain way. Like it just means that it comes from karma. It doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It's possible, I suppose, that because it's empty, it could not work. Although most of the great teachers say that dependent origination cannot fail, that this type of cause and effect, it just works. So, and that gets into a very difficult subject to discuss, but let's go step by step. Cause and effect is empty. And we talked about it a few times recently. And we've been talking about it in this term. We talk about causes and results. And then we talked about how, what is a cause? A cause is a thing that produces a result, right? Isabel? Okay.
Yes.
And then what's a result? A result is a thing that comes from a cause, right?
Right.
Okay. So we've talked about this before together, I think. So when the cause is there, when a seed is there and the sprout hasn't come yet, can we say that seed is a cause for the sprout?
Not yet.
Yeah, by definition, we can't say that. But once the result comes and we have a sprout, then can we call the seed a cause?
Yes.
Yeah, but the seed doesn't exist anymore, so there's no seed to call a cause. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so in that way, so you think cause and effect exists in a certain way, right? But then that logically we can see that actually there's no such thing as cause and effect that really exist. We think it really exists. We think there's really a cause and a result, but there's no such thing as a cause, because by the time you can call it a cause, it doesn't even exist anymore. So cause and effect exists dependent on each other, and it's a label. It's nothing more than a label that you're placing upon these concepts, which are dependent upon each other and dependent upon the label from your mind. That's what it means that they're empty. It doesn't mean that they don't work. It means that they're dependent upon each other and they're dependent upon that label from your mind. There's no real cause and effect out there. Okay.
So in this
and that
way,
can be, sorry, go ahead.
So in this way, we discussed that this label is also coming from another mental seed. So my question is actually, if for the cause and effect work, they need the actually 3 seeds, right? One is for the cause, one is for the result, and one is the for the picture which could combine these two. And if the picture which could combine these two is not going to be there, and then the cause and effect doesn't really work. So in this way, we cannot really say, all right, if you be generous, then you are going to get money. So then whatever we have been teaching is just going to collapse.
But at the same time, there's no telling that what you said, I mean, what you're saying is just a method that we use to describe a process of how the world comes into being. You can call it 3 seeds. You can call it 1 seed. There's no reason you have to say 1 seed for the cause and 1 seed for the result. And there's 1 seed that opens in your mind for cause and effect to work. And living in the world that we live in, it's kind of like one of the natural laws of the universe, just like gravity. Like, so Geshe Michael sometimes says, I understand what you're trying to ask, so I'm going to try to get to the heart of it. Geshe Michael sometimes says that if you didn't have the seeds for cause and effect to work, then it would be like you had Alzheimer's or something, or that you lost your mental sense of connecting things. So that's what it would be like for it not to work. But that would also be a seed or a lack of a seed for you to think coherently. And in Buddhism, they usually describe the 4 laws of karma as being universal. Like, they're not, they don't vary. Just because they're coming from seeds, that doesn't mean that they vary. But it does seem to be the case that you could lose the mental faculty for understanding them, and in that sense, they would vary. And you have to think about that. I mean, I can't really answer it any more than that. You have to think about it. Like, what does that mean? That there really is cause and effect, and you just can't perceive it? You can think about it that way, but then it's like, well, if you can't perceive it, then what would it mean for there to really be? Because we keep saying that there's not like some world that exists independently from your perceptions. So the answer is to that question is somehow beyond what we can express in words. If you want to be honest, like, I mean, like, but you have to think about it that way. I think, like, it's like, yeah, well, you could lose the seeds for cause and effect to be functioning, and that would be like you're seeing, like, that you don't see things connected anymore, and we see people who that happens to. But does that mean that there's not some real cause? But isn't there some real thing out there? Isn't there? Isn't there some real cause and effect out there that's really functioning independently of us? That's what we think. And Buddhism is seeking to use philosophy to examine that. What is out there separate from us? You know, the main doctrine seems to be saying nothing. So in what way is the world connected to us? I don't know.
Okay, I was trying to understand in this way. Like, I'm not sure if I'm right. I was just it's like the gravity, which works most of the time for most people, but there are some people who are able to master this gravity, which go without the influence of gravity. So will that be the same case that all this cause and effect which apply to most of the people, for those who like
master it? Yeah, I mean, maybe becoming enlightened is something like that. I don't know. I will let you know when I get there. Okay. Maybe. I mean, maybe becoming enlightened is something like, you know, you gain such mastery over seeds and results. But the way that Geshe Michael describes it, and the way that the Buddhist teachings seem to describe it, is that it's not that you're beyond cause and effect. It's more that you mastered how to perpetuate happiness in such a way that it's just constantly okay, in a way that it's just constantly getting better and better and better. You know what I mean? Like, it's that you master, like you make your happiness are like a perpetual motion machine, that you're just creating better and better and better karma, better and better seeds, which make better and better ones, and everything just gets more and more blissful and more happy. But it's still within the laws of cause and effect. But I think that that's similar to what you're talking about, because generally things tend to wear out based on their causes. Hang on 1 minute, okay? I have a slight family emergency. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna have to go in about 10 minutes, okay? So oh, 5 minutes. I can take one more question. I'm sorry about that. But did you guys have any more questions?
Hi, Nick.
Hi.
Hi, this is Ella.
Hi.
And like for Isabel's question, I just thinking like since cause and effect is like coming from seeds, would there be any word like the cause and effect is totally different with us, just like the gravity in the earth is different with the gravity on the month. So on the moon. So will it be this case?
I've thought about that before. My understanding is not really. Probably slight differences. I wish I could answer that question, like with some kind of knowledge, but these are like very sci-fi kinds of questions. Like I don't know. I have a feeling that it's a universal law, and it's not the kind of thing that works like that. It's like, I think this is something that's like deep, deep, deep at the core of our minds, like, and in a place where we're not even really separate from each other. So you talk about different worlds, but I think on that level, on the level where we're talking about of how karma works, how the 12 links work, like how the wheel of life functions, I think at the heart of that, we're talking about on a level where we're not even really so separate from each other in the way it appears to be. So other worlds are here, like on that level, it's kind of like at the heart of where we're all the same. That's what I think, and that's my idea. This isn't something I've seen in scripture, but I gotta go, and I'm sorry about that. I have a small emergency with Aaron's family, so we have to take care of it, and I'm really sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for the questions, and I'm sorry to end early. And if hopefully Geshe Michael's going to go tomorrow, and if because he's getting his second vaccination tomorrow, so if he can't go tomorrow, I'll continue a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
But,
thank you, Nick.
Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you all, and have a great night. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.